pragmatic in not just overloading you with the same Sean, the same point of view, and the same
world that wants to fit in. We stand out with a joyful grin. Ego knit, our hearts unite. Founders of love shining bright. We're Team Weird, and that's alright. Peculiar souls dancing in his light.
Hello familia. So today I am back in the work car. I will hopefully be able to get rid of the noise, but yeah, today this was one that's in the abyss of podcast episodes and info. There is so much to share, so much that God's given me, but I'm trying to be a bit more pragmatic in not just overloading you with the same Sean, the same point of view, and the same word of God through me. I believe that God, changes us over time and changes our perspective, so that, if He's given us something for today, it may not need to be shared today, but over time it will age like fine wine. Today I wanted to share on loss. So have you ever felt the deep sense of loss when something you valued was taken away? What if that loss, what if that loss, that removal of that thing was for our benefit, to teach us something, to help us with something, to guide us through something? What if it was for our progression, for our development, for our growth, for lack of a better term? So today, I guess the question on hand is, why does it feel so bad when things are stripped away? Even though they are just things, they are just possessions, they are just stuff we gather. When they're removed from our life, whether it's jobs or clothes or cars or things, when they're removed, why do we feel such a sense of loss? Now, I guess I could share so many stories linking to loss at the moment. With the liquidation of an old business, there is a lot of removal, but I am going to use a different example. I will use something that I haven't yet attained, but quite often, not daily, but quite regularly, we get given things like a job opportunity, potential to buy something that we want, an offer of some sort. We get proposed or given or get an insight to that thing, and I myself start getting excited. For example, I have, over the last 2 months, been speaking to many people about job opportunities, new job opportunities, some big, some small, some different, and I have been stuck in my old ways of getting excited and moving forward with those things, to the point of my excitement gets the better of me. If you are following us on any platform to do with this podcast, then you'll see that God gave me 1 or 2 songs where I wrote them myself and then AI generated and learnt the lyrics and rapped over it and did all this stuff, and then I got all excited. And to be honest with you, I just prefer to listen to Jesus created songs by myself than anyone else's. But I got excited. I started releasing them to the world, and I thought they might be the new next best thing. This was the same with the jobs. People would say, oh, I've got this job opportunity, or I do this interview, and I get all excited and start sharing with my wife, with my family, with friends about this thing that was coming out of pure excitement. And then as I waited on the opportunity, waited on God, waited on the people, they have not come to pass. They have not come forward. It has not progressed, and it's a loss. It's a feeling of like disappointment. It's a feeling of loss for something that wasn't even mine to begin with, that I hadn't even gone forward. And even if I had, even if I did start one of those jobs and then it didn't last or it didn't work out, you know, I know that that is, you know, with God's planning. However, there's still that feeling of disappointment, that's still that feeling of hurt, there's still that feeling of loss, and I guess it comes back to unforgiveness. I guess when I think of it, at the heart of it, it's like it puts up an offense, like a fence post. I remember this sermon back in the day of Stephen Furtick, and he was like, you know, someone says, oh, your breath smells, and they're trying to help you, and you put up an offense, and say if that's to your partner, and then you're driving and they're like, oh, you made a wrong turn, and you hear in your head you're an idiot, and you put up another fence, and then what's something else that's in passing, oh, you forgot to flush the toilet, your wife says to you, or your partner says to you, or a friend says to you, and you put up another fence, and all of a sudden, you know, after a week spending with that person, if you're not careful, you have all these offenses or fence posts in your heart, and like the gap in between is this big, and you can no longer see that person, that thing, that opportunity without first seeing the fence. So you're only seeing parts of it, you're not seeing it for what it is. So we need to give over the offense, to give over the hurt, to give over the feelings. You know, the answer to the question is the feelings of loss often stem from emotional attachments to these possessions or ideas or thoughts, which in turn, if we're not careful, can become part of our vision, part of our identity, part of what we see, part of what we live from. Our heart can be filled with these fence posts, so we can only see the darkness and the light's removed. But why does God take away these things? Why does God remove possessions or opportunities, or take things away from us, whatever it might be? And it is often, no, it's not often, it's 110% of the time, God removes something from our lives to not only humble us, but redirect us, realign us, re-straighten us. I am being humbled daily. I am being humbled daily. Just when I think the humbling is done and over, I will get another phone call, message, email, letter, comment, and bang, I can straight up take offense, or I can take ownership of my part in it, take it to God, ask for forgiveness, and let it go. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. These emotional offenses, they're hurtful. They come up. They're like opening up an email and saying that you owe someone this, or for me, you know, we had 7 cars. This is the last one, and it hasn't been transferred into my wife's company name because I don't own anything anymore. Yeah, I don't own anything. The one thing I did own is removed. But, you know, all of those things being picked up were like hits to my ego, were like signposts to my fear, which was failing the ones I love, failing the people I care about, failing the people that work for me. And look, there is an element of failure, but I had no control in it. I had no, like, it's just a fact that it wasn't going the right way, so God removed it from me. And He humbled me. And He's still humbling me. And it's a humbling experience, the path that I'm going down. But it's also a redirecting. I feel like, and I know that I am the closest I've ever been to God, that I'm hearing directly from God, that I am getting better each day with getting excited and leaning into things that He gives me. And I'm also hearing when it's not God, and seeing when it's not God, when it's the enemy, and when fear shows up, and when things are not from God. I'm seeing them faster than I ever would before. I'm also calmer, less stressed. And this is what He does. He sees that, you know, the fruit that we're producing after watering, you know, the seed that He's given us is going to be bad fruit. So he stops us from feeding it the bad food. He stops us from taking up offense. He stops us from all these things. And yes, it's a sense of loss, but that is the emotional. We don't act from emotional. We act from Christ, and we take our emotions to Him. Emotions are useful, but they are not for us to be used by. Wow, this car has a mind of its own. So the Bible verses that talk about loss of things, Matthew 6:19-21, do not store up for yourself treasures on earth, which teaches us that, you know, we should treasure the relationship we have with God rather than the things on this earth. To give it up here is to gain it in heaven. To gain it here is to lose it in heaven. And that's, I think, partially why He says it's so hard for a rich man to get into heaven. It can be done, but you have to be really, really careful that you're not idolizing the wrong things, that you're doing what God is asking you to do regularly, that you are doing all those things that we know to be true, like tithing, like giving, like sharing our time, that we are following the path God has for us. Another one is James 4:6. God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Meaning that, you know, being humbled helps us get closer to God. That He loves a humble heart, a humble person. But in all honesty, humbling sucks. Humbling is not fun. Humbling is like kneeling at the feet of someone when you know that you're not wrong. Humbling is saying I'm sorry when it's not your fault, you know. And that brings up another thing, like, does it really matter? Does it really matter if it was your fault or their fault? Does it really matter? So we need to humble ourselves so that we can see, so that we can understand. You know, Jesus is a great example of that. Of He was God's Son. He was above everyone else, but He humbled Himself. He came to serve and not be served. And that is the guide to our life. The Bible mentions it as like a blueprint of just serving others and humbling yourself and not gathering up things on this earth, because you can't take them with you. You can't take your bank balance with you. You can't take your cars with you. You can't take your house with you. You can't even take your children with you. God is first, then family, because God is everything. That's where you're going. Another one is 1 Peter 1, 6-7. In all this you greatly rejoice, that the proven genuineness of your faith, meaning, trials and tribulations and the loss refine us. When I think of the word refine, I think of gold and steel and impurities being burnt away by the heat. I'm reminded of Evangelist Nathan Morris said something in a sermon earlier this year. He said, faith not tested is faith not trusted. And then God gave me a word of faith through fire. He's giving me the fire of will I have faith to step into the fire and know that the fourth man is there, know that God is there? Will you have faith to step into the fire and not get burnt? And even if you do get burnt and burn away, know that you did it because God told you to, God guided you to, God wanted you to. Loss can be seriously painful. Seriously painful. It can be upsetting. It can be angry, kicking. It can be like an overwhelming storm or tornado of emotions. Happy, sad, angry, annoyed, frustrated, free, clear, busy, distracted. It can be all these things all at once, but not a good analogy to use a storm, but after a storm has cleared out, I'm not talking about a storm I'm thinking of like a tornado hitting a town, and then afterwards it's like a clear path, a clear slate. That's a horrible analogy, but that's the image that God's giving me of there's a tornado of emotion, and there's like this whole city or town in your head of offense, in my head of offense, of things that we've gathered up, of false idols, and God sends tornadoes, sends storms to remove all those false idols, those ideals, those things. He removes them so that we can humbly start again with a clear field, to build it the right way, to build it His way, to build it based on the blueprint that is His Bible, His Word. His Word. And the process of, dealing with these things and letting go and taking it to God, often we cannot let go of these things without God's help. And that is why these things get removed. You cannot let go of that anger. You cannot let go of what that person did to you. You cannot let go of the money you lost. You cannot let go of losing that particular thing. But that's where you need to, we need to, I need to take it to God, take it to the one and only God who can mend, who can fix, who can remove those offenses, who can remove the emotional ties that take over us, who can give us a foundation of new emotions. So I love an action step. So we got 5 here. Number 1 is reflect. Take time to think about, the possessions or the opportunities that mean the most to you and why. And just take note of whether they mean more than God, whether they mean more than your family, whether they mean more than your ministry. All things will be added unto you. It means if you put the right thing, if you put the first thing first, everything else will be added. Everything else will be given. So we need to reflect and maybe even write down what we're putting, what things, what possessions, what ideals we're putting first. Number 2 is gratitude. Practice gratitude. This one is on every single podcast, every single one. And if we're grateful for what we have, grateful for where we are, grateful for the clearing, even though it's painful, for the removal, for the loss, if we are grateful and given unto God, then, you know, all will be for His glory. You know, if you're relying too much on the material and the change hurts so much, give it to God. Say, God, thank you. Show me why you remove these things, these opportunities. Show me what I need to learn in this time, what you're trying to teach me, what you're trying to show me, what you want me to focus on. Have gratitude for the clearing. Have gratitude for the ability to start again. Number 3 is embrace humility. Acknowledge areas in your life where you might be relying too much on these things, relying too much on material, relying too much on opportunity, and humble yourself. Take it to God. Like, God, you know, I can see that I am putting this particular item up too high on my list. Show me why. Remove the connection to it to give me worth. Show me that you are worth more than this thing. Show me the actual worth. Or give me the peace, Lord, to be grateful for this thing, but to not value it higher. To look after it, but not to value it as an idol. Number 4, community. Share your experience with friends, family, church, who can support you through the removing or the loss of these material things, these opportunities. The more you share, the more someone can speak into your life, speak into their experience. It's a testimony in the making, but if you don't let it out, you can't let the goodness in. If you don't release it, it cannot return to you. Remember that God's words do not return void. He has said and given you promises, and if you're not sure what those promises are, go listen to the Promises podcast. And number 5, pray. Regularly ask God for guidance and clarity during times of humbling, during times of removal, during times of loss. All the time we pray. Pray without ceasing. Knock and you will find. Keep on knocking and it will be answered. So those are the guidance steps to helping implement this. But really, you know, you can do them all, you can do one of them, but we just need to take heed and take it to God. Take a list, take it to God. Take notes or take stock of what's in your heart, mind, and what possessions or things or opportunities we may be idolizing and putting before God. And then these things can just help you. They can just help you. Help me. Help me. So call to action for this one will be just to share with others, share with friends, share with family, follow those 5 steps, or maybe even share this with a friend so they're on the same path. Or if you know someone who's shared briefly about what they're going through, maybe share it with them. And remember to like, share, follow, subscribe. If you like this, donate if you can. Anything you can do to support, greatly appreciated. For everyone listening, you know, I greatly appreciate you. You know, if it's for for the one. If one person listens to it and they get something from it, then it was well worth the time and energy, and it's literally God speaking through me. So yeah, like, subscribe, follow, share, donate, all that good stuff. Remember, God loves you, I love you, God bless you. Stay weird. Remember, He made you 100% individual. He knows every hair on your head, and He made you to be you, just the way you are. He knew every fault, He knew every issue, He knew every challenge, and He's there for you if you lean on Him. Remember to keep on shining your light, as this world needs it more than ever. You know, do not concede, do not close yourself off to darkness, do not isolate, share and spread. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.
World that wants to fit in. We stand out with a joyful grin. Ego knit, our hearts unite. Founders of love shining bright. We're Team Weird, and that's alright. Peculiar souls dancing